And in that case, in two-way slabs, we consider two different cases. One is the slab in which the corners of the slabs are allowed to freely lift up, and the second in which we do not allow the free lifting up of the corners. In that case, the torsion get developed in the corners of the slab, and we need to design the slab for the torsion reinforcement also. For both these, all the IS specifications and the design steps we have discussed in last week lecture. Today we will see the numerical examples based on the same. So let me share me the screen. Is it visible, my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let us see now directly the problem statement. We will consider the first case first. I'm just reading the problem statement. Design the slabs spanning 4 meter by 5 meter, supported on brick masonry. The corners of the slab are free to lift. Use M25 grade concrete and Fe415 grade steel. Take exposure condition as mild. Live load equal to 3 kilonewton per meter square and width of support equal to 230 mm. Okay, so for this data, the first step is to find out the trial depth. So for finding the trial depth now, as though it is a two-way slab, it is a simply supported slab. It will be considered as simply supported because the corners are free to lift, and there is in this case we do not consider any continuation of any side or any edge of the slab. So this is considered as a simply supported slab. Now for simply supported slab, the span to depth ratio is taken equal to 20. We initially assume percentage steel as 0.35. So we calculate Fs as 0.58 into Fy. Fy is 415. So Fs is coming as 240 Newton per mm square, and by making use of the figure 4 given in IS 456, we find out the modification factor alpha 1, which will come as 1.4. Now the important step is calculation of effective depth, that is dx. Now I will simply draw one small diagram to explain you the concept now, because here in case of the two-way slab, we get two different depths, effective depths, depending upon the direction at which we are considering the span. So are you able to see this word file, blank word file?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay. So I will quickly draw one diagram showing you the details of the slab. So let us assume that this is our slab.
And we have to draw it.
If required for just for understanding, you can draw the same diagram. I'm explaining you to understand the concept. If you wish, you can draw. Okay, so let us assume this as the LX, smaller dimension. So what is the smaller dimension given in the problem statement?
4 meter.
4 meter. And this is as say Ly, which is equal to
5 meter.
5 meter. Okay, now we are finding now the depth along the x direction. So I will consider a cross section along x direction like this. So this is the depth I'm showing here along the x direction. Okay, so this is the dx depth. Now this dx depth, we already know that the effective depth is always calculated at the CG of the steel. So while placing the reinforcement in case of two-way slab, the main slab is, or sorry, the main reinforcement is always placed along the shorter span initially. So if I will consider this as Lx, this is the reinforcement. I'm simply drawing it by different color so that you can understand. This is the reinforcement which is placed along the shorter direction. Now you just, I have simply drawn a single horizontal line, but it must be a bent bar. Okay, so I have not drawn a bent bar over here. And then um, the in another direction, let us consider the another color, as say blue color I'm using. In the y direction, the reinforcement is placed above the main steel, which is placed along the x direction. Okay, so if I want to draw the cross-sectional view, the reinforcement which is in x direction, this will be like this. There will be bent up bar like this. So that I'm not going to show here. I just wanted to show you how the dx calculation is done. Okay, and here the another bar, that is the bar in the longer direction, will be placed above this bar. Okay, so this will be the longer direction bar, which are shown in a blue color. Okay, now when I want to find out dx will be calculated at the CG of this red color bar. Okay, this is my dx. And when I want to find out the depth along y direction by considering ly, I am calculating dy at the CG of the reinforcement provided in y direction. Now we have provided the reinforcement in y direction with blue color. So it should be at the CG of the blue color bar. Okay, that's why the dx and dy values will be always different. These values will not be same. Obviously lx ly values are also different, but we do not calculate the dy separately by making use of the formula, that is span upon l by d into alpha 1, and in that case ly is to be used as a span. Instead of avoiding that calculation, whatever the dx we calculate, simply above that we are placing the main reinforcement in y direction. So the distance up to the CG of main reinforcement from the CG of the main reinforcement along x-axis, that total distance is subtracted and dy is calculated. This is a very simple calculation. Is it clear to everybody? Once we get dx, how to find out dy? I wanted to explain this diagram. Okay, so I will go back to your presentation now, and you will understand how we have calculated dx and dy. Okay, so dx, by making use of this formula, lx upon l by d into alpha 1. Alpha 1 we have calculated as 1.4, l by d is 20. By putting all these values, dx is coming as 142.8, which is approximately taken as 150 mm. Okay, now here, as the depth, effective depth is 150, it is sufficiently larger. We can go to the higher diameter of the steel. So we have assumed here 10 mm diameter bars, and the clear cover is 20 mm for mild exposure condition. So the overall depth is coming as 150 plus the half the bar diameter 5, because 150 is up to the CG of the diameter, plus 20. So 150 plus 25, it is coming as 175 mm. So this is the overall depth of the slab. Now the effective depth along x direction, dx is already 150 we have calculated. Along y, it is coming as 140. Now why 140? Because if I will go back to this diagram again, the main reinforcement placed along the x direction, its diameter is again 10 mm. The main reinforcement along y-axis placed is also 10 mm. So dx is at the CG of this reinforcement. Okay, so the 5 mm diameter of the reinforcement along x-axis and 5 mm diameter of the reinforcement along y-axis, 5 plus 5, 10 mm we have to subtract from dx to find out dy. This is a calculation for dy. Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because every time this becomes you may get a query that why dy is different than dx, and as we are constructing a same two-way slab, and for the same slab why these depths are different. So this is the reason why dx and dy is different in the same slab. Okay, so this is how we calculated the effective depth. Now overall depth is provided same. Overall depth will be 175 throughout the slab. Okay, then the next step, calculation of effective span. Along the x-axis and along y-axis, we have to calculate the effective span separately. So along x-axis, now again For simply supported slab, the conditions are center to center distance or the clear span plus effective depth, least of these two values. So the values are calculated here. Along the x, the center to center distance is 4000 mm, that is 4 meter. The center to center distance we wanted to calculate, so plus 230, the width of the support is added, so the value is coming as 4230 mm. And here in the next step, clear span plus effective depth, it is calculated. So clear span is 4000 plus effective depth we have calculated along x as 150, so it is added, and the least of the two is taken as 4150 mm as the effective span along x axis. Similarly, along y-axis, again by using the same formula, here now the clear span is different, 5000, and the effective depth is also different, 140 along y-axis. So the values are put in the formulas, and the effective effective span along y direction is calculated as 5140. Okay. Now, after calculating the effective span, the ratio of Ly by Lx is checked here, which is coming as 1.24. So the slab is to be designed like a two-way slab. So we have already initially only we know that we need to design this slab as a two-way slab. So there is no need to show this step again. Okay, because initially only we have decided to design the slab as a two-way slab, and that's why we are calculating the effective span, effective depth along both the axes or both the directions. If we have to design it as a one-way slab, there is no need to calculate Lx, Ly separately. We always calculate the effective span and effective depth along the shorter span in case of one-way slab. Okay. Now the next step is to calculate the load. The load calculation steps will be exactly similar to that of the one-way slab. We assume the 1 meter strip of a slab, that is B, we take as 1000 mm. Dead load self weight by using formula 25B into D. D is 1 meter here, D is 175 mm. So that values are put here, and the value of self weight is calculated as 4.375 kilonewton per meter. Flow finish is assumed as 1.5 kilonewton per meter square multiplied by the unit width. We are getting 1.5 kilonewton per meter. So total dead load is coming as 5.875 kilonewton per meter. Live load is already given in the problem statement, which is 3 kilonewton per meter square. Multiplying by width, we are getting the value in UDL, that is 3 kilonewton per meter. Addition of the two is we are getting total load, and then multiplying the total load by partial safety factor 1.5, we are getting the ultimate load as 13.31 kilonewton per meter. So these steps are similar to one-way slab calculation we have already discussed last time also. So we'll go further. The next step is calculation of moment, ultimate moment. Now the slab is classified as two-way slab with corners free to lift, we have to calculate the bending moment by making use of the coefficients. Okay. Now to find out the coefficients, we have to make use of a table, specific table, which is given in IS code. So just open your IS 456 and go to Annex D, that is on page number 90. Page number 90. Okay. This is a formula for finding the bending moments in X and Y direction, and this is the table which we have to refer for the slabs in which the corners are free to lift. Okay. Is it visible to everybody? Code?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So to find out the coefficients alpha x and alpha y, we have to first find out the ratio Ly by Lx, which is already calculated here. I will show you. Ly by Lx, which we have calculated as 1.24. Now for 1.24, that ratio is not here, or that value is not directly available in the table. So for 1.2 and 1.3, the value is between these two, 1.24. So alpha x and alpha values are to be interpolated between these two values. Okay. So alpha x will be in between 0.084 to 0.093, and alpha y will come between 0.059 to 0.055. Okay. So after interpolation, the values are coming like this. Have you done are you doing the calculation simultaneously? Students? No answer, it means you are not doing any calculation, right? Am I right? Hello? Anybody is there in the
Ma'am,
class?
yes, ma'am. We aren't doing calculations.
You please do the calculations simultaneously. If you will not do calculations, you will not understand how to follow the steps. Okay, I'm simply reading the steps over here and explaining the steps. So don't just listen to the steps, you also do the calculations also simultaneously. Okay, so alpha x, alpha y, after interpolation, the values are coming as 0.0876 and 0.0574. The values are put in the formula of MUX and MUY. The formula is alpha x WU into LX effective square. That is the effective span along x direction. Even though for MUY, the span is to be considered along x only, because that is the formula given in IS 456. Okay, by putting these values, whatever is the moment, these moments are coming like this. Now at least you do the calculation for these moments and tell me whether these values are coming correct or not. You have to simply put the values alpha x, W and effective, L effective in along x direction. Guys, is it correct? Value? हॅलो.
मॅम एकदा एल इफेक्टिव्हची ते व्हॅल्यू सांगा.
लिहून अजिबात घेत नाही तुम्ही. नॉट करेक्ट. हा.
आणि ते खूप फास्ट चाललंय मग त्याच्यात होत नाही लिहून.
लिहितात नाही.
At least you take the photograph of the screen. ते तरी बघू शकता की नाही तुम्ही. Lx equal to 4150 mm. And W is 13.31 kilonewton per meter. Over? Have you done the calculation?
बरोबर आलं.
Okay. Now the next step is finding the moment carrying capacity. So by using a formula of MUR max, that is RU max BD square, we calculate the MUR max. Now MUR max along X and MUR max along Y, both these values are needed to be calculated. So for MUR max X, in the formula of RU max, we have to put dx, that is the effective depth along x-axis, and in the second formula, that is MUR max along y, we have to put dy value in the calculation. And after the calculation, we are getting MUR max as 77.62, which is greater than MUX. What is MUX? MUX is 20.08. So this is greater than 20.08. Similarly, MUR max Y is coming as 67.62, which is also greater than MUY, which is 13.16 kilonewton meter. So the moment carrying capacity check is satisfied. The next step is calculation of main steel, that is ASTX and ASTY, by making use of these two formulas. Now again, in these formulas, wherever there is MU, we have to use the MU for X direction and MU for Y direction to calculate ASTX and ASTY. Similarly, the corresponding depths dx and dy we have to put in the formula separately and calculate ASTX and ASTY separately. Okay. Now the ASTX is coming as 387.58 and ASTY is coming as 270 mm square. Comparing both these values with minimum required AST, which is 0.12% of BD, which is coming as 210 mm square. So both values are greater than this. So whatever the values are coming, for that we have to calculate now the spacing. So the next step is to calculate the spacing. So by putting the values in the spacing, we have already considered 10 mm bar diameter. So AST of a single bar is to be calculated here for 10 mm, considering 10 mm diameter bar. And then putting the value, we are getting spacing along x-axis as 202.64. This is to be compared with the minimum criteria, that is this value should be less than or equal to 3D or 300 mm, whichever is less. Now, in case of one-way slab, we calculated the spacing for main steel along short span and the distribution steel we provided along the longer span, and we calculate the spacing for distribution steel also. For distribution steel, the criteria for checking the spacing is different. It is 5D or 450, whichever is less, right? Here, along both the spans, that is along L and along LX and along LY, we are providing the main steel only. So the criteria for checking must be 3D in or 300, whichever is less for both the cases. This is to be kept in your mind. Okay, spacing along X direction SX and along Y direction, both the direction we are providing main steel only. So SX and SY, both these values are calculated here by considering the corresponding area of the steel calculated in earlier step, and SX, SY are coming as 200 mm and 280 mm. So one statement which will come at the end, that provide 10 mm diameter bar at 200 mm center to center along X and 10 mm bar at 280 mm center to center along Y. Okay, here this value is coming as 290. It is still less than 300 mm. So we are considering you can provide 290 mm also, or 280 can be reduced further. Okay, is it clear the steps? Now forget about the calculation, because all these values are calculated and already given to you. Afterwards you can verify the values. We will finish now next problem also, because we have sufficient time now. Is it clear up to this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now once we finalize the spacing, we have to find out what is the provided area of the steel, because in this formula, as we change the spacing, this value will also change. So find out the AST X provided along X and Y direction. Find out the corresponding percentage steel also, because this is required to have a check for deflection, which is immediately there in the next step, that is check for deflection. We calculate the percentage steel required and we compare it. Required means whatever is provided, and it compare it with assumed one. We have initially assumed it as 0.35 and the coming values are 0.27 and 0.19. So this is perfectly safe. Now one more step was there, that is the design of torsion reinforcement, which is not required in this slab because the corners are free to lift. We are not arresting the free lifting of the corner in this problem, so no torsional movement will be developed at the corners. So there is no need to design the torsional reinforcement at the corners. When the corners of the two-way slabs are free to lift, no need to design torsion reinforcement. Now check for shear. The steps are the same one, that is calculate the maximum allowable shear VUC max, compare it with VU, then calculate the shear strength of the concrete VUC or shear resisted by the concrete by using this formula and compare it with the VU. In this case, both the values are coming greater than VU. So check for shear is getting satisfied. Now this check will always get satisfied if you are assuming a higher side depth. If you are assuming the depth to the higher side, you will always get this check satisfied. So keep in mind when you decide the effective depth in the very first step for the design of slab, keep in mind about all these checks. Okay. And the last step is check for development length. Again, we have already discussed these formulas LD, and this should be less than 1.3 m1 upon VU plus L0. What is LD? Its formula we have already discussed. How to find out tau BD we have already discussed. So simply putting all these values here in the equation, we can find out LD. M in this formula is to be taken as half the MUR max. So because 50% bars are bent up, and by considering that and by putting all these values in the L0 equation, whatever the value we are getting, LD is coming less than this side, that is LHS is coming less than right hand side. So check for development length is also getting satisfied. Is it clear? So it was nothing new in this design. It was, you may feel that it is exactly similar to the one-way slab. Yes, it is similar to one-way slab, only if we have calculated two depths, two effective spans and two area of the steel, so two spacings, and in both the directions there is a main reinforcement. Okay, so this is the diagram showing the reinforcement detailing for this particular example. Okay, now I will go to the next problem. Immediately I will shift to the next problem. So is there any doubt in this particular problem, guys?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Now let us consider for the same data now that we are designing a slab in which the corners are not free to lift. Okay. So the same statement, same problem statement, only one statement will be different. I will simply read the problem statement. Design the slab spanning 4 meter by 5 meter supported on brick masonry. The corners of the slab are restrained. It means the corners are not free to lift up. It means there will be a torsion development at each corner and we need to design the torsion reinforcement design. Use M25 grade concrete and Fe415 grade steel. Take exposure condition as mild. Live load 3 kN per meter square. Width of support 230. All values are same. I have kept same as the earlier problem. So the first step will remain same. Okay, I'm not going to explain all these in detail because we already discussed it. So effective depth along X and Y are coming as same 150, 140. The effective spans will also remain same. Okay, then the load calculation will also remain same 13.31 kilonewton per meter. Moment calculation will change now here because the slab, though it is a two-way slab and though it is having same data, the corners are not now free to lift. So we have to make use of a table, different table given in IS code, that is table number 26. Okay, so let us go to the IS code now and refer the table. This is the table 26. Bending moment coefficient for rectangular panels supported on 4 sides with provision for torsion at corners. Now, what is the case? This is whatever the slab we are designing, this is still simply supported slab. And it is not mentioned that any our edge or the slab is not continuous or over any particular edge. It means all our 4 edges are discontinuous in this case. Okay, it is not mentioned in the problem that one shorter along the shorter edge the slab is continuous, along the longer edge the slab is continuous. No any such condition is given. So what is our condition? It is simply supported slab with all the 4 edges discontinuous. Okay, so this is the 9 number case. For 4 edges discontinuous, we will get only the positive moment at midspan. Are you getting this, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Now when you solve your when you start designing for your term work, you have to carefully observe the two-way slab in your plan. Okay, and also you need to consider whether a two-way slab, suppose you have a two-way slab of having same dimension, suppose 4 by 5 meter, and you have around all the 4 edges one-way slabs. So in that case your two-way slab will be 4 edges discontinuous. We'll have this particular case. Okay, 4 edges discontinuous. Is it clear? Now suppose there are two-way slabs besides each other. Now you have to observe for a particular case of a two-way slab along which edge the slab is continuous, along the shorter edge, along the longer edge. Accordingly you have to choose the appropriate case. Is it clear? So for this particular problem statement we are getting 9th case, 4 edges discontinuous. Now here in this table we have to first find out what are the Ly by Lx ratio. We already calculated Ly by Lx, which is coming as 1.24. Okay, so for 1.24 Ly by Lx, that is between 1.2 and 1.3, we have to, that is column number 5 and 6, we have to interpolate the value in between these two values 0.0072 and 0.072 and 0.079. This value after interpolation, whatever you will get, it is alpha x. Okay, and alpha y are already given in the last column here. These are the alpha y, long span coefficient. Okay, so whatever is the Ly by Lx ratio, for that your alpha y is 0.056. So the same values are taken over here. Alpha y is 0.056, and after interpolation, alpha x is coming as 0.0748. Okay, simply putting the values in this formula. Now the formula of MUX and MUY will remain same. Your moments are different. If you compare with the earlier problem, the moments were different, and the here now again we are getting the different moments because alpha x, alpha y, these coefficients are different. Is it clear to everybody how we
Yes,
calculated
ma'am.
the moment? You have to read the problem statement very carefully. You have to understand the conditions. Conditions means whether the corners are free to lift or not. If they are free, not free to lift, if they are restrained, then we have to check the edges also, along which edge the slab is continuous, or there is complete discontinuity along all four edges. So accordingly, we have to choose the appropriate case for finding alpha x and alpha y, and then find out MUX and MUY. The next step is finding the moment carrying capacity. So again, MUR max value and MUR along X and Y values will not change. We will find out the same values we are getting, 77.62 and 67.62 as MUR max X and MUR max Y respectively. Okay, both these values are coming greater than the respective MUX and MUY values. Then calculate ASTX and ASTY. So put MUX and DX value to find out ASTX. Put MUY and DY value to find out ASTY. After calculation, we are getting the values of 331.87 and 262.9. Compare these values with minimum AST. Okay, it is coming to 10 mm square. So both the values are greater than minimum value. Again, find out the spacing. Spacing will be different because ASTX values are different as compared to the earlier problem. So the spacings are coming as 230 mm and 290 mm. See, the spacing is little bit increased as compared to the earlier problem. Then again calculate the ASTX provided, ASTY provided, percentage steel, PTX, PTY, and compare it for with the assumed value to get the check for deflection. Both these checks are satisfied here. Okay. Now the important term, the step is that torsional reinforcement design of torsional reinforcement. Now, as the corners are restrained and all edges are discontinuous, all the corners fall under the criteria of both edges discontinuous. Okay, if you remember the diagram which I have shown, if both the edges are discontinuous, we have to provide the area of the torsional reinforcement as 3/4 of ASTX. Okay, I will go back to the code provision here. Torsion reinforcement here on page number 90, I guess. Page number 90, clause D.1.8. Okay, it shall consist of top and bottom. Let me check the area. The area of the reinforcement, each of these four layers shall be 3/4 of the area required for the maximum midspan movement in the slab. Okay, so maximum midspan movement will be along X direction. So we have considered ASTX. So 0.75, 3/4 means 0.75 ASTX. This much is the area required as a torsional reinforcement, which is coming as 256.1 mm square. Now to find out number of bars, again we have to assume the area of a single bar. Now here, I forgot to write down the diameter of the bar. Let me check what is the diameter I have used here. It is again 10 mm only. The bar which is provided in the corner, that is torsion reinforcement, the bar is considered again 10 mm diameter only. So I will make a correction over here. Assuming 10 mm diameter bars. Number of bars in each layer will come as a area of torsional reinforcement, that is 256.1 divided by area of a single bar. The number of bars coming are 4. Okay, and the length of the each bar is calculated by Lx upon 5 as 830 mm. So I will go back to the code again. What is the length? Extending from the edges a minimum distance of 1/5 of the shorter span. 1/5 of the shorter span. So Lx by phi, that is the clause. So for Lx by phi, that will be the total length of the bar. Okay, Lx by phi is coming as 830 mm. So these are the details of torsion reinforcement you need to calculate. Only 3-4 steps are required that calculate the area of the torsion reinforcement. Now as both the edges are discontinuous, so we have used formula 0.75 ASTX. If one edge is continuous and another is discontinuous, in that case, what will be the formula? Do you remember what we have discussed last lecture? Students, are you there in the class? Hello? Guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So what was my question?
And half of 3/4 is provided for one side discontinuous.
Yes. So for if the one edge is discontinuous, then half of this area, that much area of the steel will be provided. Okay, so it will be simply 256.1 divided by 2. That will be the area of the torsion reinforcement. Okay, accordingly your number of bars will also get reduced and the length will not change, but in that case length of each bar will remain same, Lx by 5. Okay, is it clear? Torsion reinforcement calculations. Though when you read the clause from IS code, it looks complicated and difficult, but if you consider the calculation, it is very easy. Calculation part is easy. Shall we move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Check for
Yes,
shear.
ma'am.
Already discussed in earlier problem. The steps will remain same. Shear force, see here how it is calculated. 0.5 WLx, WL by 2, simple formula, okay? And then the rest of the steps will remain same. Check for development length, again the rest of the same, whatever we have discussed for earlier problem, it will remain same. Okay, this is important. This diagram is important. You have to show the overall depth in a box here like this, 175 mm, and in both the direction main reinforcement is provided. So in both the direction, the bar in the bent format, alternate bars bent, in that format you have to show two bars, and the details you have to write down perpendicular to the bar. So if this is the bar along x direction, along 4-meter direction, its details are written perpendicular to that. So 10 mm diameter bar at 230 mm center to center. This is the bar or reinforcement provided along y-axis. Its information is to be written perpendicular to it. So it is 10 mm diameter bar at 290 mm center to center. Now in each corner, the torsion reinforcement is provided. See here, it is like a grid. This is the top grid. Below this, there will be one more grid. Okay, so bars are provided in 4 layers. This is the top most layer, first layer along say y-axis. Second layer is along say x-axis. Below that, there will be one more layer along y and along x-axis. Okay, and how many bars are there? 4 bars are there having diameter 10 mm in each layer. And the spacing or the length of each bar is calculated as 830 mm. So 0.83 meter is the dimension of the torsion reinforcement. Okay, you can write down addition to this what is the area of the total. If actually it is not required because we have already given the details as 4 bars having 10 mm diameter. So we can easily find out what is the total area considering 4 layers. Okay, is it clear? So this diagram is important. You are expected to draw this diagram after completion of your design steps. Even in the examination, not only for your term work, even in your examination. Is it clear, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So design of two-way is not so difficult, only understanding the case and calculation of moment that will take some time. Rest steps are exactly like that of your one-way slab. I'm giving you here now the link for attendance. please give the attendance through that link also. And any doubts in this? Any doubts regarding design of two-way slab? We have completed the 4th unit now. The design for staircase I have already uploaded on VOLP. I hope you have gone through the steps, and I have uploaded these steps yesterday only. So I will give you some more time to go through that, and maybe next week, next Monday, we will have a discussion on the same. I will give you 1 week time to refer the steps, whatever I have given for the design of staircase. If you open it and check it right now, you will understand it quickly, because the steps are exactly same to that of the design of one-way slab. Nothing is different. The design of one-way slab is exactly similar. For the same steps are used for design of staircase also. Or rather, I should say that the staircase is designed as a one-way slab. It is a one-way slab, okay, spanning along a shorter direction. Only what is different, that the how to decide the steps, details of the steps, that part is addition to that of the one-way slab, so that you can easily understand. I have shared you the notes on VOLP. Just go through it, and next Monday we will have a discussion on the same. Is it okay? Because from tomorrow I'm going to start with the next unit, that is unit number 5, design of column and column footings. Okay, is it clear? Any doubts related to one-way, two-way slab design?
No, ma'am.
Okay. As I have discussed earlier, announced